Hello ladies and gentlemen, SeKo Starcraft bringing you one of his recent ladder replays from the top of the crap. The top of the Gold League. If you're in Gold League or less, I sympathize with you. We are the brethren of the bottom of the SC2 ladder. Up against ZerGhoul, the German ghoul player in the bottom left. I believe I'm still playing as random, but very recently I've been having a lot more success with my Terran, even though Terran for the longest time wasn't treating me that well. Zerg used to have my highest win ratio, and then I just got sad. I'm going to speed it up a bit, just because it's a long game, and it's not like a pro game where you're going to see super crazy BS awesomeness. You're going to see super crappy BS awesomeness. That's what I'm good at. As usual, against just about every race, I will open up into a Reaper expansion. That is just my way of dealing with things and feeling good about myself. ZerGhoul is actually going pool, then gas. Specifically because I think he scouted that racks there. And then he's going to do a steal on my gas and take his expansion. Now this doesn't bother me at all. Technically that cost him 75 resources to make. And I don't need that gas anytime soon for the strategy I'm opening with. So you can see I can already get my factory without problem. One Reaper down here being a giant pain in the ass. Didn't actually get any of those drones because I didn't target them well enough. But you'll see that just having out these couple of Reapers that I have here. I know my speed is going to be all over the place on this game, but it's like over a half hour long. And I can only ask so much of my audience to bear with me. Couple of Reapers, I find it's great. We see I've already pushed out. This will be 10 lings for him. He's getting speed, really, for that reason. Queens are just standard. And a crawler. So essentially he's used up about 6 drones that he normally wouldn't have. For myself, I'm getting down my command center at a decent time, and I'm going to go take out that gas now. I'm actually decided, I watched a recent replay of Bomber playing Flash. I casted it actually. And a double factory mass hellion opening is what is in store for Shawnee here. So nothing too crazy at this point. He does do a really nice move with these links. I mean, they would be completely useless otherwise. I was going to go for an expansion, and happily I didn't expand on the low ground. I moved down here to take care of this. He sees a good opportunity and surrounds with his lings. I see that they have speed, so I decide not to bother tangling with them. I'd probably sell those hellions with that move, but backed out enough. I'm going to produce a buttload of hellions. Keep up with producing workers. Units-wise, we can see that, yeah, he's got a pretty good lead on me. But I've got mules, and mules count for something. Lots and lots and lots of hellions. Like I said, I just finally got that other gas. It really doesn't concern me that much to get that gas. I am going to now move off and get down to Tech Lab because I want to start moving into tanks and hellions and eventually push out to do some damage. Lots of zerglings down here. I'm sure he wasn't expecting this many hellions, but I was. How many do we got here anyways? 9 hellions, 2 reapers coming down. He's got a lair on the way. I don't think he's got his roach warren out yet. He has speed for his lings, but he's making no lings. He's actually going to try to wall off with this queen here. Which, if these crawlers would have been down in time, would be fantastic. But as you can see, I'm going to try to exploit the fact that it is not down in time. So I only actually lost 1 hellion to break down that door. He is panicked making a giant pile of lings right now, which once again aren't drones. And he's lucky he made those, otherwise I would have killed all of his larvae. Don't get the best lineup on those drones, unfortunately. I probably could have done better than that. Probably should have went after that queen as well. I was hoping to get to the ramp and get better position against these lings, but he had killed enough stuff to make that too difficult. So he ends up cleaning that up at the cost of... I did get 9 drone kills total, which isn't too bad. So if we look at the units tab, I've actually taken a pretty good lead in workers right now. I have tanks on the way, a 3rd factory, which is probably overkill, and I'm walling off at the front now. I've played enough games where I just haven't been able to macro well enough that I'm trying to be a little bit more focused on that element. I'm actually making a couple Widow Mines. Those are a mistake. I actually wanted to keep making Hellions. I'm going to be getting Blue Flames soon to support that. So on his side here, even if I had got damage done, I did cost him to put down a bunch of crawlers, lose a bunch of lings, lose a queen, and lose 9 drones. So I was pretty happy with that early attack. We can see he's just finally starting to take advantage at the 11-minute mark of this third base. And I'm already building up my army that I need to go out and crush this. He did get Roach Warren down, and I think if he didn't get that down, it would have been death. With the amount of Blue Flame Hellions that I'm producing at a time, if he just went straight Lings, even Ling Baneling, I think he'd been in a world of trouble. I scan his base and see the Roach Warren, but I don't see his lair, because his lair is building at this base, and I assume that's the case. It's not often you get the 11-minute mark and the lair isn't down yet, so I think it's a fairly safe assumption. If I'm talking fast, it's because I had a lot of coffee today, and now I'm having beers. A coconut beer. It's the beer out here. One of the other things I learned from spending too much time huddled up on my base is that if I have units like this, I might as well go and use them, if that makes sense. Like they're sitting at home, I should be going, pressing you in the front, taking out creep, doing something to help me do just a little bit better. My Blue Flame is about to finish. I'm going to kill a bunch of creep. Always a wise thing to do. He only had actually 1 creep tumor. I get a little bit fortunate with this here, and my Blue Flame just finishes up too. He's finally making some roaches, but roaches take a lot longer to make than zerglings do. So I'm essentially, I've cleaned up that base pretty good. Gotten myself another 12 worker kills. I killed a queen, a pile of lings. Units lost tab, but you see I've got a pretty good lead. My macro could be a bit better. We can see I'm building up quite a bit of minerals back at home. My gas has been my limiting factor. I'd try for another run by. If it would have worked, it would have worked, but I decided to just pull out. Don't rely on pulling out though, kids. It is not an effective strategy, as any non-wanting to be father will tell you. I'm not a father. Don't take that out of context. 2 more command centers. I had the money, so I might as well spend it. 4 factories, making Hellbats now and Thors. Most of the time when I play against Zerg players as Mech, they will inevitably get a Spire down. But as we see here, he's actually moving up into a Hive tech already, which is quite crazy. As Connie would say, it's quite cray. This base is completely not being used. Finally get some more drones out. Pardon me. When he gets his upgrades. My upgrades are very delayed, but I decided that I was going to focus more on getting out more units than I would on upgrades. And so with the armies I made, I was actually able to get more damage done, which is the big reason why I did it. So pretty good sized army here. I'm actually going to use this army now to go and pressure that third base. And at the same time, I'm going to expand. Very smart move to do, as any player with experience will tell you, is expand while you're attacking. That most of the time means they will not be attacking you. So you have the opportunity to really push out and get damage in. +1 will not be finished in time for this attack. It's a little bit... I didn't have my timings down exactly, but once again, my play wasn't based on my upgrades. This guy has been really clever with his changelings, actually, during this whole play as well. Very good with those. Got all my hellions and hellbats to tank. And he's got to be very careful. Roaches will get totaled. So what I'm going to do is control the choke, protect my tanks, and try to get some damage in up here. Killed off a few workers, but those crawlers are actually doing a really good job against my tanks. Sorry, against my hellions. Tanks are awesome, if nobody ever told you, and now my upgrades are finishing up. 4 hellbats, 2 Thors at a time. But we see a really, really cool play here out of ZerGhoul. And I've not run into this too much as a defensive play. I've seen it a lot as an offensive play, though. He's gonna get right on top of my tanks. Unfortunately for him, his timing, though it's awesome to kill all this, will not be in time to save his third base. So I'm gonna lose my entire army, but I do have all my other bases finished and a mass mule call down. I see the burrow, I saw the movement, so I'm gonna get down missile turrets, and I've actually got myself some starports out. Once again, I always run up against spire play when I'm doing this, so I want to have the starports ready for this right here, Greater Spire. Units wise, once again, economy, I'm actually in the lead in economy. I probably should be building a few more workers, getting a planetary down here, and just muling this base. But I thought I had him in a worse position than I really did. You see, his supply is actually pretty good. I've got a sick amount of money because of all the mules I dropped. So I'm gas. I have some gas, but not great gas. So I'm making tons and tons of Hellbats. Hellbats are still awesome. He will shoot down my scout barracks, and I see that he's still on Roach Hydra. That makes me feel confident because, as you see, after I saw Roach Hydra, I'm getting down more planetaries and missile turrets. This is so funny. This is ultra newbie-ish, but I just don't want to have to worry about this base. So he can't burrow in, he can't run in mutas. I got planetaries and all these missile turrets. It's so funny. I did go for a Hellbat drop because I really enjoy my Hellbat drops, but I saw the timing of this Greater Spire. Well, I did that. I've actually killed 28 workers so far this game. It's not too bad. Making a bunch of Thor's Hellbats, but I'm also now getting into Ravens, so that way I can scout for any burrow play. And I'm also going to start producing Vikings, just because of that Greater Spire. You don't really invest that much into this tech without having, you know, a good reason for it. So my opponent's been against the ropes for most of this game here, but his upgrades are ahead of mine, substantially. And his tech is good. Not that I want to say, at this position I feel I am ahead, even though the supplies don't necessarily indicate that, because my macro sucks. You can see all that money there. Finally get myself up to 6 factories. My macro sucks, that's the only reason. Otherwise I think I should be further ahead and able to actually go and crush out against this. But I can't produce the numbers that I want fast enough. I'm also an idiot about my supply depot wall. Can't produce the numbers fast enough here. I'm going to speed it up once again because we're at this point where I'm still afraid he's going to burrow rush me, and he hasn't. He's got a spire, so I'm worried about mutas, which he isn't making. And he's actually just building up a sick army to get broodlords with fully upgraded Roach Hydra on the ground, which I scanned completely. That's gotta feel so crappy for a Zerg player. Like, haha, catch this tack. Or just get and see exactly what's happening. So, Vikings, Ravens, and then I'm gonna move into 3 Vikings at a time. I've got enough Ravens out here. And what I didn't notice, and maybe I didn't pay attention, is that point defense drone has been super nerfed. Like, point defense drones used to last forever and take out so much stuff. I had 2 Widow Mines from earlier on and moving around, but now they barely deflect anything. So I learned something very important from playing this, is that point defense drones are not worth what they used to be. Though, because I wanted to have them against the Hydras, right? All the Hydra damage that's in this is where the big damage dealers are on the ground. Point defense drones would usually be awesome. I unhappily shoot a bunch of larvae instead of drones. But that's okay though. I'm alright with that. And one more up here, which isn't in the perfect position actually, I think, to deny the hatch, which is a bit of a problem. It's just about rumble time. He's got himself pretty much maxed out. I'm making 4 Vikings at a time. That's right, I made another starport. Just cuz. There's nothing that really sucks more than going up against a certain type of composition and losing against something you can't fight. So if you, for instance, if you had like 10 Corruptors on here and his Hydra shot down all my Vikings, then these Broodlords would just win. Because I have a Mech army, my Thors aren't going out hold it together well enough. Once again, he's great with changelings in this game. I do believe I shoot him in the face. Yeah. So, here comes the attack. My tanks are unsieged because I actually want to attack him the same time as attacking me. I don't have that many tanks in this composition, so it's not that big of a deal. See, down go the point defense drones, and look how quickly they dry up. How puny have they become? So, as broodlords, they don't last very long. I have 17 Vikings, which I should be landing immediately right now. They should be landing immediately to help my army. But unfortunately, I'm a total scrub. And so I'm going to lose almost my entire ground army before I finally land to do this. What a bunch of idiots. Come on, get on the ground. So with the help of the Vikings, he will actually clean all this stuff up. But, now that I got all of his Hydras, I have a plan. I've never been able to do this before, and I'm so excited. And unfortunately for him, all he made was roaches. So I'm going to go Overlord hunting. This means I'm actually very undefended at home, because this is most of my supply right now. We're shooting Overlords. We're shooting Overlords. I don't care if there's a queen or a spore crawl or anything after this. He's happily got out 12 Hydras before he's about to get massively supply blocked. So look at his supply in the red over here. And he's not building any more right now, actually. He used up almost all of his larvae. I scanned to see if there's more Overlords this way, and there weren't. He did the smart move, though, on going on a counterattack here. Because I don't have tanks in position. I have Thors on the way, but my army is still being rebuilt right now. His supply is so bad. He's actually getting down emergency spore crawlers. I thought that was really cute. Because, you know, these Vikings are definitely going to stick around after I kill all of your stuff. And at home, I'm going to lose all my stuff. But that's okay. Actually, it's not really okay. Trying to send in all of my workers here to fight. They're not going to do well, but I'm just hoping they buy me some time. Over here, I landed all my Vikings. And they're actually going to carve through a lot. Vikings do pretty good on the ground. You know, they've actually, though I don't have all the upgrades for them, they actually do pretty darn good. Killed a ton of drones. Workers killed wise, 51 kills so far. He's all the way up into my base. Right on top of my production, which is where you should be as a Zerg player. Look at that, 16 Overlords at a time to finally get himself out of supply block. Now, Hellbats aren't the best against roaches, obviously, but I do need to keep building units. So, oh, Seeker Missile. Blammo. I love that burrow right next to my ravens. So, it looks like I will eventually clean up these roaches, but we do have these Hydras, this small Hydra batch on the way. 15 workers. What's the worker count at? Well, he's about to be 21 workers. Holy crap. He does have this base up here. 0 kills on that guy. And he really wants to repopulate this base down here. So the Hydras are going to come in. I'm not going to go attack them right now. I need more units. Those Hydras will cut through my army. My +3 armor is not finished yet. Well, you see, production-wise, even though I have less money, I'm actually making stuff. Right now, he's either too preoccupied or something, because he's not really making anything at the moment. I have this huge gas bank, too. That's crazy. Vikings are going to come over here, deny a little bit more. 5 kills. I think I grabbed a few workers with that guy. He did take out all my starports, which is a little bit sad. And those 2 random workers. Sieging up the tanks in case he decides to break through, which he's not going to. And we're going to clean this up. Alrighty. So, he doesn't have any units now except for these Hydras about to pop. He is in a bit of a better economic position. I'm starting to make... Look at all those units I can make at once. 2 Thors, a tank, 3 Hellbats, and 3 Hellions at a time. Ridiculous production. More spine crawlers, some basic defenses, which is smart in case I decided to go for some hellion harass. I'm aware that this base is still down here in mining, so that's going to be my next target. I'm actually building a planetary fortress up here. I don't know why. I should have waited for the creep to finish and put it over there, but I just thought it was kind of cute. I thought it was kind of funny. I'm not too worried about mining out in these bases just yet. That guy eventually needs to go somewhere. So here comes around this push, just to try to deny some of his ability to attack. This is his whole army right now. Got a pretty good mix here. My Ravens with their... Just getting terrible placement for my Widow Mine to deny that. And terrible range for my Planetary, they can't reach that. So funny though. Tanks are gonna siege up. Hellbats in the front. Regroup. Seeker missiles would have been better. Once again, I throw down these crappy point defense drones, which dry up in no time. The tanks with 3-3 in the back door just crushing through all these units. And that's essentially everything he's got. He's got a good bank, actually. Look at all that gas. But that's pretty much the end of this guy. Yeah. We get into a little bit of a philosophical discussion around the competencies of Terran Mech towards the ends of this. I didn't realize that they're talking about buffing Mech. Apparently that is the case. And that's why I'm asking about a buff. Because Terran Mech, I think, is unbelievable. I think Terran Mech is awesome. Mech is awesome. I don't know if he's very happy about me saying that after kind of crushing that. Supposed to merge one more upgrade next patch. Now, I went and actually checked on the forums. Just to make sure that was the case. And I read a little bit to see that that appears to be what the discussion is about right now. That there is a thought about giving Terran Mech more viability. And I think Terran Mech is extremely viable right now. The only thing it's not viable about is really Protoss. Super tough against Protoss. But against Zerg, maybe at the super high levels it's different. But on the amateur side, Mech against Zerg is really, really good. But anyway, SeKo Starcraft, a bit of a longer game there. I had tons of fun playing it though. And we'll talk with you guys later.